I'm Dan with Consequence of Sound. We're here in Denver, Colorado, with the Coathangers here. Primarily, we're going to be talking about their new record, "The Devil You Know." What would you say about it?
I would say it is my favorite record I've ever heard.
Wow.
That's
High
just
praise.
me.
That's a good review.
Yeah, self-proclaimed best record ever.
That's just me.
Yeah, we wrote it in LA and we recorded it in LA, and it was our second record with Nick Jodoin at Valentine Studios. We wrote it and we played on it, and it was pretty sick.
Did you guys write the whole thing in LA?
Yeah, we don't even have a absolutely.
Yeah. We'll record it in 2 weeks.
We I live in Long Beach, California, and so we have a studio. So we got to like just hole up in there and eat tacos and make songs. Yeah, so it's cool.
Do you write right as you go into a record, or do you write along the way between records?
It always accumulates over time, which is the best way to do it. But to actually have time to sit down and work something out, we're touring all the time, so it's like you don't really have a lot of time. Or do you want to divulge like a week of your life, free time, to like being on tour at home?
Sure. I love liner notes in records, and whenever something is published with it, especially if it's not written by the band.
Right.
And I was reading through your, I guess I'd call them like liner notes or album notes on Bandcamp. And there were a couple of things that stuck out to me.
Okay.
Go on.
So one of the things it said is that like for the first 12 years or more or less of your existence, you kind of followed this, like I'm paraphrasing, this punk ethos of the albums are like a signpost for the band, kind of advertising the live shows, but you kind of stopped with this one and maybe didn't go for that quite as much. Can you talk about that?
To not have it sound live? Well, we did a live record.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's what it is.
It's like we've never been able to actually capture our live sound on any record because
Even if we play live,
Yeah.
on like while we're recording, it doesn't have like that energy.
Yeah, the energy and the energy of the crowd. No, absolutely. No, you're right. Also, going into a record, you haven't played it for 100 times, so then it settles into itself. So anyway, we've never been able to capture that sound until we did the live record. I think that what we've said is that each record is a snapshot of us at that time.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with like the live aspect of it. It's like what we played like live at that time for sure, because we recorded like that. But I think there's an evolution that happened on this one. Also, we kind of went and like did extra shit, like extra melody harmonies and stuff like that, because it felt like in a studio environment, why not paint broader? We used to always go in and just like, how we sound is how we sound. Everything, if we can't play it live, we're not going to record it. And so...
And they're like, but we're in this awesome studio
Yeah.
and all this awesome shit. Like, why are we not using it?
Why don't we play a xylophone? Yeah, we're never going to play xylophone live.
But
Okay,
on the
but...
record.
it's just, you get stuck in ideas, but you grow.
Okay, yeah. Growth
Yeah.
seems kind of like a theme
Yeah.
on it from what I've looked at.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So kind of building off that same question, it said you took about 6 months for, I think the phrasing was reflection and reassessing. What does reflection and relaxation and reassessing look like for each of you?
Just not
Lot of-
touring, I guess. Like getting a break.
Being still.
Yeah.
Like literally being in
And
one
being
place.
like with your family or your pets and your home.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Like actually
just
stay.
decompressing, and just so that it stays fun and fresh, because we've been doing it for like what, 52 years?
Yeah,
so
about
it's crazy.
52.
Is that combined?
Huh? We're vampires.
Yes.
But no, it's just nice to decompress and then just have time to reflect on what else we got to say.
Okay. Any specific activities that help you guys decompress?
Hot. Party.
I like
don't
it.
know.
Okay.
Netflix.
Okay.
Sleeping.
Netflix and chill.
I love to sleep.
Cats,
Cats
Yeah.
are cool.
Okay.
being outside, having time, like taking your time to do things, like
On your schedule.
on your
Yeah.
schedule, not someone's not telling you got to do it in 5 minutes or.
Moving on specifically to the record, I'd say "Hey Buddy," probably my favorite track on there. It's
nice.
got this like ass shaking beat. It's like oozing with
Shake that
like
booty.
fuck you energy.
Right.
And I was wondering, like, is this direct? It's obviously directed towards like these douchey guys who feel entitled or something.
Directed to people.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Not
So
just
tell me
guys.
about who this is directed towards. I was wondering, is
Well-
it like guys in bars that you're playing?
Well, okay,
who-
so like each
or-
each verse is about a certain person, right? So the first one, like technically about how someone calls. When I cut all my hair off, people kept asking me, "Are you a girl or a boy?" And I'm like, "Well, why does that matter? Like, who cares what I got in my pants, you know?" So that kind of upset me. But people get called faggots all the time, you know, in a very derogatory word. And it doesn't matter if you have long hair or short hair, you know. And then the other one is about our gay friends who had problems. Another one was about my friend who literally got shot at because he had long hair, and from the back, these dudes in a truck in the South thought he was a girl, and then when they found out he was a dude, they chased him off a bridge. And then the other one is about, you know, an instance where where she got harassed, but for any woman wearing like a short skirt or something.
Or any.
or anything, and then you don't know what to say because you're like, you don't want to be, well, fuck you, man. It's like,
It's like,
whoa.
hey, buddy.
Like,
It's like,
hey,
hey, pal.
like,
Hey, chief.
did you want? Oh, hey, did you want to talk?
Like
did you
you're
want to talk
like that was
politics?
actually
Like,
gonna
what,
work.
what the fuck are we doing right now?
Strangers can do to you. It's just unbelievable
Yeah,
how mean
bad
people can
vibes.
That really comes through, especially on that second verse with the "Have a nice day." It's just
Yeah.
like,
be.
go to
Yeah,
hell.
yeah. Like, what are you supposed to? Yeah.
Because then you let
Have a good one.
You let that negativity get to you, and it just eats you alive. The next thing you know, it's you're a negative person. So I don't know. It's
Yeah,
like
it makes you defensive, and it puts you on the offensive all the time, and that's an uncomfortable
that
place to be.
sucks. Yeah.
Digging into some of those themes, by my count, you talk about gun control, you talk about some feminism issues, you talk about some trans issues, you talk about addiction, and I read somewhere, I think you were talking to Vice or something, that you said you were angry about a lot of things, but it more so than in the past, it's like a controlled anger. Where does that control come from?
Focus. Well, because you want to be effective with your anger. When before it was enough to just yell and scream, but now you want to be like heard. And yeah, and use your words. That's how people hear you. So it's like, it was very, very important, you know? Yeah, like with a child. So it's like, well, what are you really saying? Because you say this sucks and this sucks and this sucks, but like, well, what is your intent? Like, so
And
that's
sometimes the
cool.
louder you scream, the less you get across.
Sure.
In my life.
Especially with like
Yeah.
like men listening, they don't want to hear you be loud,
Yeah.
right?
People.
and, like,
People
friends
don't
and
wanna hear.
family and-
Because even the drug addictions thing, it's
Well,
like,
because my
Yeah.
family, we get into screaming matches. When we get in a fight, we scream at each other, and then so it's taught me a very negative way. And then I control, that's my way of trying to control situations by being loud and angry and in your face and physical, and it never gets me anywhere except in trouble, So I'm trying to work on that. It's very difficult.
This is like a clarity you guys have with this album more so than previous albums?
well, yeah,
Yeah?
I think
Okay.
it's just getting clarity through like living life. So, yeah. Whereas like the other one was like Nosebleed Weekend. Basically, I'm gonna fucking punch you in the
Yeah.
face.
And that
you
was
know?
fine at that time.
Which is great, which is how it felt at that time. But now it's like, well, okay, said that. Now what do you got to say?
Yeah.
What do you really have to say?
Okay. So, like the center of this album, you guys have this song "F the NRA," or if you look at the lyrics, "Fuck the NRA."
Yeah,
Yeah.
say it.
Tell me about this song.
Oh.
Mhm.
Well, it was.
It's a great song.
Yeah,
It's
it
got
was
killer
written
riff
in
and
the
everything.
van when we were listening a lot of NPR and on tour, and like it was when the shootings were happening. Like, well, all the time, but last year it just seemed like just so much, and it just seemed they just came like really like the words came out, and then And then we just wrote it. It was really fast.
It's very direct. It
Yeah,
makes
there's
no
nothing.
bones about it.
A lot of times, like when I write lyrics, I like to use a lot of poetry, but it was very cool because in that one, it's very direct. It's not.
But you wrote it in a very, still like, it's like fuck the NRA, but it's not. It's very intelligently written.
Yeah.
See, I wanted it, if we were going to release a song like that, for it to have a point and a purpose. And and the way we're just getting like farmed as humans, and we're just numbers and cattle that are replaceable, and they're just seeing numbers. That's where it really comes down to the tragedy of it all, is that no one is really caring about the human side of it all. We're just like, oh, whatever. More guns, more panic, more bodies, more products being sold. Boom, 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 boom. More people in jail. Boom, 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 boom.
It's like chaos.
Yeah.
Chaos.
And it's how you need to think bigger. You need to think beyond like what side it sounds cool on TV because whoever is saying it. Like, what do you really think? How is it really affecting humanity to have a fear-based society where everyone's afraid of each other? That doesn't happen everywhere. You travel, you go to New Zealand, they don't carry guns. Police don't have guns there. We have an innate fear. And then, if you're brown, then how is your life? We're talking about street harassment, all of this stuff. It's like people living in anxiety.
Yeah, that war is a way of life line in there.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
I try.
So you're like, what do you sound like?
I hate interviews like that. How did you guys get together?
Yeah.
Okay. So the video for that song is essentially one long scroll of depressing gun violence statistics. And I'm a high school teacher, so I appreciate the shout out about school shootings and stuff. Like we had a lockdown 2 days ago.
No way.
So I also read somewhere like you're holding signs in that video. Like
we went
what's
to the march for our lives.
Okay, awesome.
The mayor was there.
Yeah. Robert Garcia, number one.
Babies.
Yeah. He's the best.
So do you guys like see a way forward? Do you feel like you have an answer? Is there a way forward? How are you feeling about this? I feel like it's a miasma.
Education. Why does anyone need a AK-40 whatever? Why do you need anything that fires off rounds like a military device in your home? But then again, it's America, right? So you're supposed to be able to have say and do whatever you want. So it's this weird conundrum, right? So I don't know. I don't think there will ever be an answer.
Writing these songs and like maybe opening conversations is like the number one way. Also, being interested in your local government, how your local officials vote, be interested in what's going on and how policies are being made and because we can affect it. You look at what's going on in politics right now, and it's pretty exciting to see all these women and women of color getting into office and calling people out, and you can feel it's shaking up. The NRA is going bankrupt, by the way, from what I hear.
Yeah,
so,
I don't think they're doing as well as
so
usual.
fuck them, People are figuring that shit out.
They gotta die out.
We have access to so much information. I am very positive about the state of the world.
That's good.
Yeah, I really am. I think that we're living in a society that is getting enlightened. And if you look at the kids, I don't know, you work with kids, so you see this probably, but the kids I meet, they're way smart.
I would agree, yeah.
Yeah, and they speak on this like, and you're like, whoa, wow, because they have access to it. They don't just live how we lived without access
it's like, what was
everything.
I doing in high school?
Yeah, you were just only focused on what was in the room. When they can look at everything. It's pretty cool. So it's going to balance itself out. I mean, it is what it is. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay, cool. Okay, so totally different note.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some themes of like addiction and self-medication, specifically with like Step Back.
We're just
and
a
with,
good time, aren't we?
I was worried my questions were like too negative or something. But
No, they're intelligent. Yeah.
So Step Back and Lithium primarily, especially Lithium. I love the pill bottle shake kind of percussion you have in there is cool. So I'm thinking you're a touring band, and on tour, you're driving hours and hours to a new place. You're probably going to show up to a bar. There's not a lot to do there if you want to hang out with other people, then drink. It makes me wonder how much of this is autobiographical, or if this is something you've seen amongst other people, or how do you feel about this?
I've
Both.
absolutely. It's absolutely both.
I mean, people that are closest to us are.
Or we ourselves have, you know.
Yeah, it's true.
So.
You get to somewhere with just drink and I don't know.
It's a problem though, not just for people that are in bars, but people that are in their homes. You know, it's like your addiction is a problem we're also facing, and that's because reality seems a little too intense. You know, we're dealing with all of this stuff, and it's something that whether you're on the road and you're off the road, it can definitely affect you. I mean, you know, people get prescribed Oxycontins for tooth removal, and then they become fucking pillheads. So,
And then heroin addicts.
yeah, it's pretty intense. But of course, part of this lifestyle is partying. It's fun for a really long time, and then it's not fun. So.